comrades. I am Nurhaziqah binti Anwar, and my respected supervising lecturer is Madam Hajah Hazrawiyah binti Abkas. So, as for today's insights, there are 5 main aspects I would like to talk about. The first one will be my prior knowledge and skills. Secondly, new knowledge and skills acquired. The third aspect is innovation created in school. And the fourth one is comments and reaction toward teaching experience. And the last one is problems faced during the practicum. And at the end of the presentation, there will be a quick Q&A as well. So let's get started. But before we go to the first aspect, let's have a look on some facts about the school I teach, Sekolah Kebangsaan Seberang Perak. So it was built in April 1979, which is now, this school is 43 years old. So it is a TS25 school, which most of the lecturers and PPD, even JPN also really keep an eye to. Although the address shown is Teluk Intan, which Teluk Intan is actually supposed to belong to Hilir Perak, but this school is actually located somewhere in Kampung Gajah, which belongs to Perak Tengah district. And for this 5 consecutive years, I would say that majority of the people and teachers are Malays, and the minority is orang asli. And the fun fact, despite its remote location from the city, this school was once visited by our Malaysian astronaut, Dr. Sheikh Muzaffar, somewhere in 2018. And considered as one of the largest schools in this area, this school has made many achievements, and with the impressive and notable ones, dance team and the netball team have reached the national level. So that's about some facts about SK Seberang Perak. Okay, now talking about my prior knowledge and skills that can be applied during my practicum. Okay, the first one, I would say the SKP and lesson plan. As we all know, PDPP students are given the opportunity to teach in schools prior to entering the IPG. It was quite a year before we learned all the curriculum, methodology, pedagogy, subjects, and whatnot. Actually, to be honest, we were quite lost at that time. So we sought other teachers for help. We even Googled and learned in YouTube when lecturers asked us, where do you get the information of? And then, therefore, it was quite obvious and clear that after going practicum, with all the knowledge learned in this course during the 2 semesters, we know how to read, to refer, and even use the SKP, and also construct the CEFR lesson plan. So thanks to curriculum study subject, we are able to find our way back. We learn in this subject that learning objective is very important, as well as learning materials. We also learn how to design teaching and learning aids. And for TS25 school, we should have success criteria with the statements, people can do what and what. So everything we planned in the lesson plan should include individual and group work, as well as more people-centered approach. And I learned that according to Skinner's theory of operant conditioning, when students are given positive reinforcement, they are more likely to repeat such good conduct. So, adapting from this theory, I created some rewards for the people if they demonstrate exceptional work, effort, and improvement. And then in future, they will continue to do wonderful work. So I think responding to Dr. Khan's question just now, maybe some improvement, I don't know, and maybe for my suggestion, I just wonder why PDPP students, for the first semester, we haven't been taught the curriculum studies yet first. I mean that this subject is very important. I mean, this is really the basic foundation, and I think that it should be taught in the first semester. But I don't know, maybe IPG has certain reasons for making this subject to be learned in second semester. So, okay, then move to the second activity, about activity. Teaching, we know that teaching and learning requires many interesting activities to make the lessons impactful. However, not all students suit the activity that we have planned, that we have prepared. Therefore, in educational psychology subject, I learned to use the Howard Gardner theory of multiple intelligence. So there are 8 multiple intelligence according to him, and some of them are linguistics, visual, and musical. Then for the 21st century activity or PAK 21, many of the information learned in pedagogy subject are related and can be adapted to cater students' activity. For example, the 21st century classroom teaching and learning activities such as I think map, think pair share, presentations, and role play. All these activities involve all people to be active in collaborative learning. So it caters all the multiple intelligence of peoples in a whole class. So additionally, the total physical response TPR, which this term I learned in methodology subject, are widely used in the textbook. I found it in year 3 textbook. They use many TPR, so which the activity require people's body movement and action. So, and then for the language game, activity such as language game, I think the technology and instructional media subject has helped me to choose digital game and suitable media for the peoples. For example, the word wall and quiz wizard application. And then thirdly, school-based assessment and also classroom-based assessment. The same case with the SKP and lesson plan, prior learning in the IPG are actually lack of confidence in assessing the students. It is because I'm not sure which level pertains to their proficiency. Should we be really strict or should be a bit lenient? So once I learned the subject of language assessment and also pentadsuran bilik darjah, I brought the knowledge of creating the including test specification table to create a paper test, and I recognize what is formative assessment and what is summative assessment, and I learned the way of assessing students for their 4 skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So it's all about my prior knowledge and skills. Moving on to the next aspect, which is new knowledge and skills acquired in schools. Okay, when we talk about this aspect, it includes the knowledge of teachers' role, social skills, which refers to the communication skills between other teachers and school administrators, and also classroom management. There are many of them, but I will focus on teachers' roles during teaching and learning. Okay, the first knowledge is that knowledge A, okay, you can refer to knowledge A, I can observe and understand people's potential and main intelligence. Okay, if previously we simply learned the theory, but this time I interact with the students, I teach them, I research their background, I meet them. Okay, so the majority of the students I teach at SK Seberang Perak, okay, they come from rural communities. So unlike other urban kids, although they have some time to spend their on their phones at home, but they also love to play outside with friends and cycles every evening. Okay, and then they also adored and relished hands-on activities. So as a result, I learned that the majority of them are visual and kinesthetic. Okay, and second knowledge I think is class management and control. Right, for class management, since I am the class teacher, okay, I gain knowledge of some clerical work and other important things like preparing the PAK 21st classroom atmosphere and ways to keep the class 3Ks, kebersihan, keceriaan, keselamatan. Okay, and then for the class control, it is undeniable that people sometimes will make noise during the teaching and learning session. The more excited they get, the more noise they will make. So, and recently, my supervising lecturer made Hazra came to observe my teaching and learning. So, some useful advice I got from her is I need to establish myself in order to manage the class. So I have to come up with innovative and fascinating techniques to get them to quit chit-chatting or to redirect their focus back to my lesson. Some of the ways she taught me that I remembered showing high five. Okay, this is like a very macam okay, to make this is that when teachers show this means that please keep quiet and then maybe shouting everybody freeze. Okay, I found that this method quite reasonable and useful. Then I also create another one method for this class control, which I will explain later in my innovation. Okay. Another skill I acquired during teaching and in school is ways of giving instructions. Okay, people are different than adults. They can't comprehend long instructions with vague meaning. Therefore, each time I need them to do something, I will highlight and stress on the action verbs. Okay, for example, the word read, cut, paste. Okay, for example, the instruction read together, and point your fingers to the correct pictures. So they get which one I stress on. Okay, the instructions are simple, must be easy to demonstrate. If like scissors, I use scissors. Okay, and clear to students and concise. Aside from that, I acquired skill not just to choose activity that suits the theme, but also to limit the numbers of activities in class. Why I should limit? Okay. When my mentor teacher came to watch me and saw my lesson plan, he advised me to select only appropriate activities, the best activities for the session, and not to be overly ambitious in having too many activities in an hour. He suggested that I can vary my activities, but please limit them to maximum 3 to 4 only so that I can finish my lesson on time. Okay, this also helped me with my time management and also help people to stay focused and calm during the lesson. All right, now it's time to talk about the innovation made. I hope all the innovations are eligible to call it as innovation, although maybe you have seen it somewhere. Okay, please note that despite the fact that we are just in the 5th week of Practicum, some of the innovations I will explain here were produced and utilized before the Practicum period began. Okay, the first innovation I made is for teaching materials. I call it Magic ABC Pouch. Okay, why magic? Okay, just because it simply consists of ABC cards. I printed them and cut them into alphabets. I used this Magic ABC Pouch with my TP2 students, okay, to teach them about phonics, especially the simple phonemes CVC. Okay, these students is actually special needs students, okay, with learning difficulties. Okay, the fact that every time I told students that, okay, this pouch works like magical. Okay, they were amused and excited. First, oh, magic, apa benda magic tu teacher? Okay, so the first step is I will give them a flashcard or book with CVC words like cat, bat, tap. So I ask people to take the ABC cards, okay, follow the sequence of the words in the flashcards. They will arrange the ABC cards according to the flashcard, according to the word shown, okay, and then they will say the words. Okay, I will help them, I will guide them to say the words, and they repeat for few times, okay, until they remember. Next, I will turn the flashcards down so that the people can't see, and I jumble the cards. Okay, so they need to unjumble the ABC cards according to the flashcard they see just now. Okay, so it's like doing phonics with spelling as well. So I kill two birds with one stone. Okay, from this innovation, I aware that my TP2 pupils are now able to read and pronounce some simple words. I swear that this is a genuine feedback. because I did this for a few months last year, and this year I got some feedback from the teachers teaching these people, okay, and she's saying that she's quite surprised to see that this boy can read some words. Finally. Okay. So my future action for this magic ABC pouch is I plan to make each student to have one, so that after that I can use it for spelling bee game. Right now, here come to the next innovation, which I did for pair activity. Okay, this pair activity, I call it 10 read. Means 10 minutes read and act. Okay, this activity I created during the catch-up plan last year, especially for students with TP5 and TP6 proficiency. Okay, the thing is, I will use this activity 10 minutes before starting lesson or 10 minutes before ending the lesson. So the first step is they will be divided into pairs. Then they will be given storybook, and they will read together for 5 minutes. For the next 5 minutes, in front of the class, in front of their friends, one people will read the story and another people will act out based on the story. So this is to enhance the reading and listening skills for TP5 and TP6 students. So far, the response I got was splendid. Okay, some of the students even asked for more storybooks to read and act out. Okay, the third innovation I have created so far for teaching and learning is adjective pack. Why I call it adjective pack? Because I packed it into one casing file, and the materials consist of adjective song, which I changed the lyrics of nursery rhymes, row, row, row your boat. Then prompt cards to explain what is adjective, pictures, and word cards to match with the pictures. Okay, this pack is suitable to use when I want to give more understanding to people about grammar. Okay, since we can't teach grammar prescriptively, one way of teaching descriptive grammar is by conducting this activity. Last but not least, one innovation I said earlier about the class control. I call it penalty card. Okay, since the word innovation means product or service being renewed, I adapt the traffic light cards to be my penalty card. If people can use the traffic light cards to tell about their feelings and understanding of the lesson, I can use the traffic light too to show my feelings, but with additional prop, which is whistle. Okay, the function is similar to a referee on the field. So referee will blow a whistle and show yellow and red card for penalty. So in class, when I display yellow card and blow the whistle, means I give them warning to keep quiet or stay calm. So when the same person or same class still make noise and didn't hear my warning, I will show them the red card and blow whistle. So they will be given penalty. So the simple penalty are including sweeping floor or do more tasks. And even in the future, I think I will need to track their penalty record. Okay, and for the green traffic light, I will display to them right after the class when I feel satisfied with their behaviors on that day. So they will be given rewards if they got green card. Okay, this innovation is quite new since I got advice from Nurhaziqah to come up with new techniques of class control. So I've been using this. I got the chance to use this for a week, and I think so far so good. But maybe I said earlier I need to track the penalty marks or whatnot. Okay, so that's all about my innovation. So about comments and my reactions toward teaching experience in school. Okay, the first one is PBD issue. Okay, this matter has been an issue since the abolishment of exam-oriented systems. They receive many perceptions. Until today, there are still questions pertaining to this PBD. Of course, this PBD requires teachers to always ready with the transit form or we call it now Record Perkembangan Murid. As for me, PBD comprise of ongoing assessment, so which will happen all year round from the pupils in standard 1 until 6 to ensure that these pupils always on their toes rather than centralized examination. So therefore, I agree that PBD replace the exam-oriented system because it is holistic, and for English, it is easy to know which part are they lacking, whether it is listening, speaking, reading, writing, okay, language arts, okay. And then for catch-up plan, okay, this is like very, this is like a debating issue among teachers only. Okay, so catch-up plan for Ministry of Education for 2021-2022, which happened last year, and now we are in phase of catch-up plan 3. So it actually involved 3 weeks of our practicum as well. So as we know, this CAP is implemented to bridge the learning gap created during PDPR. So it refers also to the process. Teachers must plan a strategy, come up with, and determine. We have to explain to extend which subject or skills taught during PDPR, which students or not. As for new teacher like me, okay, honestly, coming up with catch-up plan is quite challenging, especially when you have to fill in what they lack, dividing them into 3 groups called enrichment group, reinforcement 1 group, and reinforcement 2 groups. And you have to give and explain 3 different tasks to these 3 groups of people. Okay. However, despite the difficulties, I have managed to come up with the activity like in my innovation just now, the 10 red, with the help from my teacher mentor and English panel. Okay, and the next command is about importance of fun activity and games. Right, when being on teaching field, I realized that activity we plan is everything. Activity is really important. I aware that pupils exhibit passive behavior in class if the class do not include any fun activity and games. Therefore, I have to become creative and ready with the knowledge of delivering the fun games and activities. And then for the teachers' goals, all right, for teachers, I realized that not all students are smart and quick learners. So our approach to the students should not be biased. So it is our responsibility to ensure every people get their rights to learn. Okay? Instead, despite their proficiency level. So back to the role of teacher in SKPMG2, standard 4, which act as a tool to always upgrade my PDP session. Teacher as a planner, teacher as a controller, teacher as guide, teacher as motivator, teacher as assessor, and students as active learner. All right, before I end my presentation, let's go to the problems faced during my practicum. Okay, for school students rotation. As for 2022, according to MOE, Year 3, Year 4, and Year 5 are still in the rotation system. Classes were split into 2, Group A and Group B, with each group taking turns to attend face-to-face teaching and another group from home. So my school is involved in this school since we have many students. And for me, teaching during practicum, somehow it will affect my lesson plan as well, because I have to repeat the lesson for the next week peoples. However, I've come to solution, or maybe I improve the approach. I record my teaching, and also I take pictures, whatever on the whiteboard, and then I send to the group. I send to the WhatsApp group for peoples at home simultaneously. So from this way, I save time. By the way, I heard that starting April, there will be no more school rotation, and I really hope for the good news. And then for the recent SOP and students' activity. So as you know, MOE has outlined some SOPs because of the COVID-19. So as today's classroom management should adhere to the latest SOP, I actually faced difficulty to conduct some group activities, because many group activities that involve touching friends cannot be carried out. Instead, I change it to the other activities, but still in group work. But if let's say there are still touching involved between students, I will make sure that they wash their hands and always wear masks when group work is involved. A bit challenging, but yeah, I accept the challenge as the system change, and after all, it's all for people's safety. And then time management, I sure this has been said by all the students as well. We all know, but here I look at the different perspectives, not in class, but between working and studying. Okay, we know that working and studying is not an easy job. However, since the course that we took here is related to equip us with the right knowledge and skills to be a teacher, so we have to accept it with open heart. Okay, the problems faced, especially time management, due to workloads from the schools. Sometimes we even have meetings after school until 5 to 6 p.m. And at the same time, we have to keep up with the assignments and tasks from the IPT. Okay, there are sometimes I felt really exhausted. But now things get better. Okay, when I know ways to prioritize my work, and I know that I'm not alone, my friends felt the same too. So we are together in this. Okay, I think that's all for now. As conclusion, I believe that undergoing practicum is really important phase for teachers to test ourselves whether we are really fit in this teaching profession, and so it's a way to instill our love and care for schools, for the students, and for our profession. So with that, and my presentation, I open for Q&A session. Also, any question?
Okay, Hazika, well done. It was a very good presentation. I don't know about the rest of the group. I feel like in your presentation, you are teaching us by speaking very slow and steady so that we can understand your presentation. So in a way that your habit talking to the pupils actually becomes your nature now. When you're talking to adults, all right. Anyway, it's a good one. All right.
Can't deny one.
Yeah, everybody agree. Yes, she's the way her intonation, right? Rising tone, going falling tone and so on. So if anyone from the group did not understand her presentation, something is wrong actually, because her presentation is very clear. All right. Okay, well done, Hazika. I just want to ask you, in terms of penalty, you just say that you ask them to sweep the floor. Is that what you normally do?
It depends actually on the class condition. If let's say I see on that day the class is very dirty, so that person they are the victim of that day. Actually, it's supposedly done by everybody, but just to remind that person, next time if you don't want to sweep the floor, you have to listen.
Okay, I would like to suggest that when it comes to penalty, because I heard a few presenters just now talking about penalty, I think it's better when you create the penalty in terms of it's something that beneficial to the pupils, meaning that not something just like sweeping the floor, something to do with language as well, so that it's penalty, and through the penalty they learn something, like copy a paragraph, a simple paragraph of a short a story, for example. So by doing that, they are learning. It is a penalty, but it's good for them as well. All right. This is my suggestion to the rest as well. And I noticed that you are very good in terms of you can relate your teacher's role through the SKPMG2, right? Because you're related and you can I know now you know your role, and it's good to base on SKPMG2 because that's the document. If the inspectorate going to your school, at least you know. That is another good point as well. Okay. Anybody? Any question from anyone? Anyone? Just another thing and comment that I think you could identify the pupil's ability and align it with the appropriate activities as well. That is good. You can identify whether they are kinesthetic, whether they are the visual learners and so on. You relate to your activities, and that's a good point as well. Okay, keep up the good work. I think that's all I would like to say. And once again, well done. All right.
Thank you, Madam Nurhaziqah.
Anyone else would like to ask questions to Nurhaziqah? If there are no questions, I think we can continue with the last presenter.
Alright, for the next presenter, I would like to invite Mr. Najwa Farha. Okay, good luck, me.
Okay, thank you, Hazika.